Hello BookTube, my name is Sarah and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with my Harlequin Anticipated Reads for February of 2018. As you guys know, I've been doing my Anticipated Reads videos for quite some time, and I thoroughly enjoy doing them and letting you guys know what books are coming out. But the one thing I never touched on were Harlequin books, and you guys know I love my Harlequin books. So I decided this year to start doing an Anticipated Reads video just for Harlequin. So essentially what I'm going to be doing in this video is picking one book from each of the series that they produce and talk about them. Now, the reason I pick these books, you know, can be from a favorite author or a favorite series or, you know, just a book that sounds interesting, but I thought I'd highlight one from each to let you guys know what's coming out and maybe to be on the lookout for if any of these sound interesting to you at all. Of course, will link them all, excuse me, in the description box below. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. And all these books are coming out on February 1st, just so you know. So let's jump in and get started. So the very first book or series that I want to talk about is the Harlequin Dare line. This is a brand new category, or series if you will, in Harlequin. These were brought out, I think, to sort of replace the Blaze books. Now, I loved the Harlequin Blaze books. They were some of my absolute favorites. These ones, I think, are even spicier than those ones. When I was looking at a couple of these books on Goodreads, they're actually listed as erotica, so keep that in mind. But I do want to check them out to see what I think about them. None of the authors I'm actually familiar with at all, so, you know, they sound like they're going to be good. So the one that I'm actually going to talk about is called Off Limits, and it's by Clare Connelly. And this is a story about a billionaire and I guess a woman that he works with. And they have some X-rated after-hours fun. And, you know, of course, there's a relationship and all those things. Now, this book, the reason I wanted to highlight this one in particular is because Shannon Riddler, she pointed this book out to me that it's currently free on Amazon to pre-order. So it's $0. So if you want to pre-order it for the Kindle, it is free for the Kindle, not free in book form. But free for the Kindle, please go on and do so and check it out. I might even try and fit it in February to read it, just to see what I think about the line and all those things. But yeah, so if you're interested, check that one out. The next book that I'm going to talk about is The Baby Claim, and this is by Mann. This is from the Harlequin Desire line. This one stood out to me because it takes place in Alaska. It's book number 1 in the Alaskan Oil Barons series, excuse me. And it sounded interesting. Any book set in Alaska, I'm very intrigued by lately. And this is a one-night stand resulting in a baby, that story trope. But Mann is a really, really great author. She's very prolific with Harlequin, and this one sounded like it was going to be really good. Before I continue, the one little thing I did want to mention is you're going to notice that I'm not talking about all the Harlequin lines here. Unfortunately, I don't read all of them. I generally stay away from the Presents books. They're just not my favorites. I'm also not a big fan of the Nocturne because I'm not a huge fan of paranormal romance. And the medical romance is another one that I generally don't talk about. So I do apologize if those are the kind of books that you do like. Please check out the Harlequin website to see what's coming. But they're not ones that I personally am going to be talking about in this video. But the next book I want to talk about is from the Harlequin Heartwarming line. And this is Healing Hearts by Syndi Powell. This is book number 2 in the Hope Center Stories series. I have to admit, this one, the cover drew me in for this one right away. I just thought it was so adorable. And it's about a woman, and I guess she's had some sort of a bad medical diagnosis. And she is a medical caregiver herself. And she's created a bucket list of things she wants to do. And one of them is to fall in love. And it just sounds absolutely adorable. The Harlequin Heartwarming line is really, really cute. If you like clean romance novels, there is no swearing, there is no sex in these books at all. Very similar to the love-inspired stories, except they don't have the religious aspect to them. But they are really, really sweet stories, and this one looked really cute, and I am looking forward to it. Next up, Harlequin Historical, we have Innocent in the Prince's Bed by Bronwyn Scott. This is book number 2 in the Russian Royals of Kuban series. Now, this one jumped out at me because it takes place in Russia. I think it's during Regency times, though, or during that time period. I'm kind of a stickler when it comes to if books are, that so many of these historical novels are labeled as Regency, when in reality the Regency period I think was only like an 8-year span or a 9-year span. So when I do my own cataloging of books on my spreadsheet, I really do try to fit them into the correct time period, but I believe this is like a Regency type of story. And I think the whole thing with this one is that there's a young lady who, this is her first season, and, you know, into the marriage market, essentially, to find a husband. And she gets matched, or not an arranged marriage, but, you know, a match with this Russian prince. And, you know, it sounds really, really interesting. And again, because it takes place in Russia, it'll be really nice to read about a different location other than Regency England. Next up, we have Harlequin Intrigue. And of course, you knew if I could fit her in, I would. And the book is Out of the Darkness by Heather Graham. This is book number 3 in the Finnegan Connection. This one sounds really good. All 3 of the books in this mini-series, or series I should say, that Heather Graham is writing are all part of the Intrigue line. So I love the fact that she is still a New York Times bestselling author, but is still producing books for Harlequin. Like, again, and I say that as if I'm bashing Harlequin. Harlequin is absolutely fantastic. But, you know, a lot of times authors will graduate and then not end up coming back, but she is. And I really love that. This is the story of a woman named Sarah, and I guess it's 20 years after her high school graduation, and I guess there was some bloody massacre that happened in her high school, and the boy that she was in love with back then has come back because the killer has come back, so he's after them. Sounds really, really good, and I'm very, very much looking forward to it. Next up is Harlequin Romance, and the book is Stranded with Her Greek Tycoon by Candy Shepherd. This one sounded really cute when I was reading through all the books that were coming out in February for the Harlequin romance line. This one jumped out at me because it does take place in Greece, and it's about a couple who are married, and I guess they're on the cusp of getting a divorce, and, you know, she goes to see him, I guess maybe to sign the papers or something like that, and then something happens and the two of them get stranded together overnight, and, you know, I guess the relationship rekindles itself, if you will. So sounds really cute, and yeah, I think that one will be a really fun one. The next one is a Harlequin romantic suspense novel, and that's Guardian Cowboy by Carla Cassidy. This is book number 8 in the Cowboys of Holiday Ranch series. Now, I have to say, I appreciate this cover 100%. I mean, what? Who wouldn't? But I do have to say, as much as I love my Harlequins, I think that some of these covers are what give them a bad rap. I mean, come on, like, how legit is that cover? I mean, that's not necessarily going to happen. Just some random cowboy walking around his ranch without a shirt on. Like, you know, it's eye candy, plain and simple. But the reason I picked this one is because it's Carla Cassidy. Carla Cassidy is a great romantic suspense writer. I thoroughly enjoy her books. This is about a woman who's being stalked. She's getting her tires slashed, notes left for her, all these things, and then this cowboy, I guess, I don't know whether he's military or a cop or anything like that, but he's essentially going to be protecting her. So it sounds really good. You know, but as much as I do love covers like this is the reason I do so much reading on e-reader, because nobody knows what the cover looks like of the book that I'm reading. And I know Kim, or Sissy, mentioned this in a recent little video that she talked about, you know, that sometimes she gets funny looks when she's reading these kind of books in public, and I think a lot of people look down on people for reading them. You shouldn't. They're fabulous, and they're fun, you know, and let's be honest, the covers can be highly, highly enjoyable. The next book is Harlequin Special Edition, which I have to be honest is probably my favorite of all the category series for Harlequin, and that is The Single Dad's Family Recipe by Rachael Johns. This is book number 3 in the McKinnells of Jewel Rock series. This one sounded really cute. Again, I read through all the books that are coming out in February for this line, and this one kind of jumped out at me. It's about a single dad who's opening a restaurant, and the woman, he hires her, I guess, to work with him, and sparks fly. For some reason, I'm really drawn to any books that kind of take place in restaurants or have anything like that. I'm not a cook, I'm not a chef. I don't like to bake, you know. I mean, cooking for me is craft dinner, and baking for me are those, like, pre-done cookies that you put in the oven. But there's just something about, like, a kitchen atmosphere and a restaurant atmosphere that appeal to me, and this one sounded really, really cute. The next one is a Harlequin super romance, and that is A Cop's Honor, and this is by Emilie Rose. This one sounded really cute. It's about a woman who is a single mom. Her husband was a police officer who died in the line of duty, and the gentleman is her husband's partner, partner in the police division. And her son, or her child, I don't know if it's a boy or not, gets into major trouble with the law, and she needs her, you know, her husband's partner's help. And I guess the two of them start a relationship. Sounds very, very interesting, and Emilie Rose is a great author, and I'm really looking forward to this one. Next, we have Harlequin Western Romance, and the book picked is Her Cowboy Reunion by Debbi Rawlins. This is book number 18 in the Made in Montana series. I love this series. It is so much fun. I think up until this point, a lot of the first books were named after country music song titles. And I read one of them last year, Barefoot Blue Jean Night, which I really enjoyed. I don't think these have to be read in any sort of order. They all just maybe kind of take place in Montana. But this is about a woman who is hiding from her past, and she comes home, and the only person who recognizes her is one of a male classmate, a guy that she went to school with, that he was in love with her back then. And, you know, the story kind of goes from there. Sounds really, really cute. This one I picked definitely because of Debbi Rawlins, because she is such a fantastic author. And I really do enjoy this series, and I'm kind of disappointed because this is one that is going to be ending this year. They are getting rid of the Harlequin Western Romance line and the Super Romance line from what I understand. And I think the Love Inspired Historical as well. So that's all kind of sad that they're getting rid of them, but I'm hoping they're going to replace them with new lines. We shall see. Next up is just from the Love Inspired series, and that is The Lawman's Runaway Bride by Patricia Johns. This is book number 2 in the Comfort Creek Lawman series. This is about a woman who leaves her fiancé on the day of the wedding. And then that fiancé ends up going over to Afghanistan, and I believe he's killed in action. And she now comes back to town because they're planning a memorial for him, and she falls in love with his best friend. Sounds really, really cute, sounds interesting. These covers, again, are some of my absolute favorites for all of the Harlequin books. I don't know what it is. They're so sweet and adorable, and I love it, and I love that she's wearing Uggs. I just love her little outfit. But yeah, no, this one sounds like a really, really great one, and I have actually went ahead and pre-ordered this one because it sounds really good. The next one is Love Inspired Historical. Say that 3 times fast. The book is Suddenly a Frontier Father by Lynn Cote. This is book number 5 in the Wilderness Brides series. This is a mail order bride situation. She arrives because he ordered a mail order bride, and he's actually not there. I guess when she was traveling to see him, he got a note that his father was dying, and he went to go be with him on his deathbed, and then ends up getting custody of his younger half-sister, and then comes back, and the 3 of them decide to be a family or something like that. So it sounded really, really cute. The whole mail order bride thing I know is a big deal right now in romance novels, and yeah, this one sounds really sweet. And the very last book that I'm going to talk about is a love-inspired suspense novel, and that is Plain Jeopardy by Alison Stone. This one really sounded good. It takes place in Amish country, and it's about a woman who comes home after her mother's death, and family secrets are revealed and things like that. It sounds really interesting. I know the whole Amish thing is also really big right now in romance, and the fact that it's like, I know the suspense, like the mystery suspense ones, are also big right now for the Amish romance novels, but it just sounds really interesting, and I'm very much looking forward to reading it. So anyway, guys, that is it for this video. Please let me know in the comments below if any of the books sound any good to you, or are there any Harlequin books that you are looking forward to coming out next month. And until my next video, take care and happy reading, everybody. Bye. You gonna talk to the people? That's my seat, man. Come on up here, please. Come on. Come on, Tubby. Today's episode is being brought to you by the Gorin Cat. Come on, Gorbeast. You gonna say hi to the people? You gonna tell them? What are you gonna talk about? Did you read anything good this week? No? Nothing interesting? You just want to be petted. Life with cats, guys. Life with cats.